Annabelle, a name that has haunted the world for decades. Locked away in a sacred glass case at the Warren Occult Museum, she sat silently, watching, waiting. The warnings were clear: do not open, do not touch. Yet on a cold October night, someone did, and what followed was pure terror. It started with a group of paranormal skeptics determined to prove the legend of Annabelle was just a myth. A live stream, a challenge, and a decision they would regret for the rest of their lives. The Forbidden Dare. The group consisted of 3 friends, Kevin, Lisa, and Brian, urban explorers who thrived on debunking haunted myths. When they announced their next stunt, breaking into the closed Warren Occult Museum to prove Annabelle was fake, the internet exploded with reactions. It's just a doll. Kevin laughed in the teaser video. Lisa smirked, we'll be fine. What's the worst that could happen? They had no idea. Late at night, under a sky choked with storm clouds, they arrived. The museum was abandoned after Lorraine Warren's passing, its artifacts left undisturbed. Cameras rolling, they forced the back door open. Inside, the air was thick, suffocating. Every object whispered a warning, but they ignored it. Then they reached Annabelle's case. A single sign hung on the glass, warning, possessed. Do not open. Brian scoffed, if she's so dangerous, why hasn't she done anything yet? He reached out and pulled open the glass door. The moment the latch clicked, the lights went out. Something is watching. Their night vision cameras caught all. The room dropped into total silence. No wind, no distant cars, just nothing. Then a soft creaking. Lisa's breath hitched. Did she move? Annabelle sat exactly as before, but her head tilted, just slightly. Kevin, the bravest of them, reached forward, grabbed the doll, and held her up to the camera. See? Just fabric and stuffing. Then, a sharp knock from the other side of the room. Brian turned. Who's there? No answer. But the rocking chair in the corner of the museum was moving on its own. The curse unleashed. A loud bang rattled the room. The camera shook as Kevin dropped Annabelle. The moment she hit the floor, all the doors in the museum slammed shut. Lisa screamed, "We need to go." Brian turned to grab Annabelle and froze. His face drained of color. Where is she? The doll was gone. The camera feed flickered. Distorted whispers filled the air. A shadow too tall, too thin, with empty black eyes, stood in the reflection of Annabelle's case. Then Lisa vanished. Trapped with Annabelle, Kevin and Brian ran, screaming her name. The hallways stretched endlessly, warping and twisting. They weren't in the museum anymore. They were inside something else. A deep, guttural voice echoed. You let her out. Now she wants to play. The camera feed cut to static. For 3 full minutes, only darkness. Then Kevin's voice, trembling. She won't let us leave. Then silence. The footage that shouldn't exist. Days later, police found the camera outside the museum gates. But there was no sign of Kevin, Lisa, or Brian. Authorities searched every inch of the museum. No broken locks. No signs of entry. And Annabelle? She was back inside her case. But something was different. Before, she had sat upright. Now, she was tilted forward, as if watching. And on the inside of the glass, barely visible, scratch marks. As if something or someone had tried to escape. They were never seen again. The museum remains closed, the case sealed once more. But visitors claim, when they walk past Annabelle's case, they hear faint knocking, and sometimes the whisper, "Let me out." __. It's been 1 year since 3 skeptics, Kevin, Lisa, and Brian, broke into the Warren Occult Museum and opened Annabelle's case. Their disappearance became an unsolved mystery. Police searched every inch of the museum, but the only thing they found was Kevin's camera lying outside the locked museum gates. The footage inside, terrifying. It showed them running, screaming, before being dragged into the darkness. Then, static. They were declared missing, presumed dead. But on October 17th, 2023, exactly 1 year later, Kevin returned. Only it wasn't really Kevin anymore. The return of the missing skeptic. It was 3:07 a.m. when a state trooper found him, standing barefoot in the middle of a desolate road near the Warren Museum. His clothes were tattered and damp. His skin was ice cold. And his eyes were wrong. Vacant. Blackened around the edges. The officer rolled down his window. "Sir, are you okay? Where did you come from?" Kevin slowly turned his head. He didn't blink. He didn't speak. He just smiled. Then, in a voice that wasn't his, he whispered, "She let me out." He should have been dead. Authorities were in shock. Kevin had been missing for a full year. No records, no activity, no body. And yet, here he was. They rushed him to the hospital, where doctors ran test after test. The results? Impossible. His vitals were normal, but his blood work didn't match any known medical condition. His body showed no signs of malnourishment, even though he had been missing for 12 months. Worst of all, when nurses left him alone in his room, he was caught whispering to something that wasn't there. "She's coming for you next." Where are Lisa and Brian? The police interrogated Kevin, desperate for answers. "Where have you been? Where are Lisa and Brian?" But Kevin just stared ahead, unblinking. Then he started laughing. A slow, unnatural laugh that didn't sound human. The cameras caught something horrifying. As Kevin laughed, his breath was visible. Not like a normal exhale. It was cold, icy, like something else was breathing through him. Then the lights flickered, and Kevin spoke, his voice layered, like multiple people speaking at once. "Lisa is with her now. Brian tried to run, but you can't run from her." Something followed him back. That night, Kevin was placed in a secure hospital room under 24/7 surveillance. The footage was chilling. At exactly 3 a.m., Kevin, who had been lying still, sat up in a single, unnatural motion. He turned to the corner of the room and smiled. But there was nothing there. Then the cameras glitched. The audio distorted, filled with whispers and static. When the footage returned, Kevin was gone. His hospital bed? Empty. And on the security feed, just before the camera cut out, a tall, dark figure was seen standing in the reflection of the hospital window. Annabelle's curse is spreading. Kevin was never seen again. But 1 week later, nurses at the hospital reported hearing knocks on the walls at night. Soft, rhythmic, like tiny hands tapping from the inside. And inside Kevin's now abandoned hospital room, someone had written on the wall, "She let me out. Now she wants more."